because it turns out it's the stupid fucking little things that make life great. Sickening. Then I check my phone and respond to text messages because there's stupid fucking people out there that love me. Literally, why? Finally, I take my bitch ass out.
I'm gonna start the podcast with this. I'm gonna start the podcast with an audio clip of this fucking interaction.
Then I feel happy for a brief moment. Ugh, honestly, ew.
Ugh.
Welcome to my stupid fucking morning.
Ew.
Okay, you have to watch it because when she says like stupid fucking lemon, because I actually like it, the lemon has a face drawn on it. And she cuts it in half.
No. I would do the same. I just got a Sharpie, so now I'm gonna be unstoppable. Anyways, hello and welcome back.
Oh my god, we're recording. Why didn't you tell me?
I told you I was gonna clip it in.
Hi.
Hi everybody. Welcome to the second episode of Film Babes, a film and TV podcast for and by gorgeous, gorgeous girls and non-binary babes. I am joined once again by the fantastical, incredible, amazing, phenomenal, incredibly talented, and gorgeous motherfucker that is Josie Meléndez, a film poser, HCA, and now Rotten Tomato approved critic.
Tomato. I thought you were just talking about yourself. What a plot twist. Me? Thank you.
I'm narcissistic, but I'm not that narcissistic.
All the adjectives, just throw them around.
Oh my god. Oh yeah. I have a dictionary with me, by the way, just so you know. I rat them out every day. But yeah, today we're going to talk about the newest Pixar film, Turning Red, because we got to watch it early and I'm obsessed with it. Literally, my head is like empty. It's just Turning Red.
It's just such a great film. I just can't stop thinking about it, and we'll get into why, but it's just one of those that just stays with you, which is not uncommon for a Pixar film.
It's not, honestly, but I'm liking this new direction, though. I feel like I wasn't really heavily invested after Inside Out in 2015, and then Luca kind of like revitalized that Pixar momentum for me, and now this is just like the cherry on top.
Yeah, I'm at the opposite in terms of I think I've mentioned it to you before that Inside Out is one of my favorite Pixar films. It is my favorite Pixar film.
It should be. It's so fucking good. Like,
yeah, but there came a point where Pixar kind of went through an identity crisis because, on the other hand, I am not a big fan of The Good Dinosaur.
We don't talk about the good.
We don't talk about The Good Dinosaur.
It doesn't exist. It didn't happen. Thank you.
And it's not like the message it's trying to deliver isn't bad, but everything else I just couldn't vibe with it. It did not feel like Pixar. And there came a point where I remember talking about this on Film Posers around 2019, I think, where I remember just craving for that spontaneity pronunciation.
La espontaneidad.
La espontaneidad. I miss that from Pixar. So it's nice to see them. Like, I remember watching Turning Red and I'm like, okay, yes, we're being spontaneous again. We're ahead of the curve. We are being ourselves.
Having fun.
Yes.
We're having fun, and that's like the thing that makes it the most interesting.
That's
you know
what
we
we wanted.
mean?
That's why we like Pixar. And the whole point of it is just to have fun because, again, you are already an established studio. Take risks.
Yeah. You don't have to prove anything at this point, right? You're like a household name. There shouldn't be any pressure for you to deliver on anything. So now it's just like, get back in touch with like your inner child and go back to that playfulness that, you know, the studio was kind of like missing in terms of fabricating like the Pixar style and the Pixar vibe.
Yeah, because ultimately the films are for children, but we have to remember that children aren't dumb. So it's
children
nice.
are so smart.
Yeah, because I know everyone feels a type of way about Soul, but I just remember feeling that this, like, Soul felt the way films felt when we were young, where they didn't spoon feed us information. And yes, it is a heavy film, and at times it did feel more like an animated film for adults, but children can still watch it and still get something from it because it's not too heavy, even though of course you are dealing with the concept of life and death. But kids liked it, and we gotta give them more credit. They understand more than we think they do. Like around age 5 is when you start having those questions because you start discovering more aspects of the world. So I like that Pixar is again setting the precedent for the fact that, hey, kids aren't dumb, kids are actually really smart, and we should give them stuff that actually makes them think and develop at a good pace and in a good way.
Not only that, but stories that actually reflect the time in their lives that they're going through. Because, oh my God, why is this on? How dare
They're
you?
popular.
Oh my
They're so
God.
popular.
I'm just like, at this point, it's just the thirsty tweets that are getting attention. My
That's
entire
what
brand has
happens.
shifted. My
Literally
entire
right
brand
now.
has shifted.
No, literally right now, most of the tweets that get more attention, the ones that I tweet out, are the Oscar Isaac ones. And I'm like, y'all thirsty people.
Oh my God. Yeah. Yeah. I've leaned into the Pedro Pascal stan Twitter fandom.
Yes.
I'm just like feeding them. I'm spoon feeding them now. It's fun for me. But going back to Pixar and to Turning Red, I think that at the core
Wait,
of
wait, wait. It
everything.
does make sense
Wait.
because there's a lot of thirst in this film.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Yes.
It's a
You know
perfect
what?
segue to
Thematically,
Turning Red.
it's so great.
Thematically, I think I was reading right now, like coincidentally right now, there was a tweet from the New York Times about an interview with the director where
Oh my God,
I'm
Demi.
scrolling. Yes, the quote is, "It's a side of teen girls that you never get to see.
Yes.
We are just as awkward and sweaty and lusty and excited
Yes.
as any boy." And that's what I loved about Turning Red the
Yes.
most.
I agree. I wholeheartedly agree.
When they went into just all the aspects of, not to say the H word, but the lustiness that a lot of teenage girls have at that age, just how the switch turned on, I was very surprised. There were so many things, there were so many areas and aspects of growing up and the female life that this film went to that I was like, Pixar, what are you doing? I love this. Look at you.
They literally went for my fucking head, and I was like, how dare you? This is not funny anymore. This is like an actual issue.
We
But
all
it was
felt
so
seen and
funny.
called out, but also
Yes.
it was respectfully.
Yes. It was kind of like it was like looking back at what I was like and what we were like, and kind of reconnecting
Yeah.
with that incredibly H word
We all
side of
read
us.
we all read fan fiction.
We all read the fan fiction. We all read
Yes.
the smutties, the lemons.
When she started
If you're old
doing
enough to get that, reference, you deserve a veterans discount.
but it goes into all of that, and I respect, like, I think I'm between a 3.5 and a 4 for this film because it was not my favorite Pixar film. It's not there for me, but I respect the hell out of it. It is smart, it is creative, it is chaotic, it is unafraid, and I will stand behind this film wholeheartedly because we need more films like these.
I completely agree. It's a 5 for me because it hit on a lot of my identity as like an
Oh yeah,
Asian
I
daughter
saw
of
you in this film.
immigrants.
I
And
saw you
like
in
we're
this
gonna talk
film.
about that later because I feel represented on every like every second of that film. I was like, that is me. Why? Who do I sue now? Because they've literally like taken my literal image and put it
Your
on a film.
likeness.
My likeness. Oh my God. Disney owes you money and Pixar owes me money. I think that's
Yes.
just like the takeaway from this. Yeah, for sure. For me, the film is like an instant 5-star. I am gonna literally buy all the merch. I'm gonna buy probably the Blu-ray as well if they ever like drop it. And I'm genuinely thinking about the art book. I don't know where I'm gonna put it. Maybe next to my Mitchell's one, and they'll just like be friends and hang out. But this is like for me personally, this is the film. Like that's it. It is gonna win an Oscar. I'm like 98% sure of that.
It's competing against Spider-Verse.
Fuck.
Yeah. I remember watching it and I was like, oh, this is easily winning. And then I was like, wait, Spider-Verse. Oh no. And normally I would be like, Spider-Verse
Can you
already
talk to
won
your
an
contact? Can you talk to your contact and tell them to push the film a little bit? tell them to push the film to March, like after the Oscars.
Because the thing is that I was like, oh yeah, Turning Red
Phil,
is in the
Phil.
bag. Phil Lord, push it back, please.
Phil, do me this one favor. This is the one time that I'm like, Disney should win an Oscar. Okay, just one favor, Phil. Just like push it back a little bit. Like just like a tiny little. I won't complain.
Mhm.
I'll take the heat. Like, you can like send the Marvel fans after me. I'm good with that. Like, let's
I
just please
mean,
give Turning Red a chance.
if Mitchell's wins this year, then it'll be fine. It'll be fine.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. 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 If Mitchell's wins this year, we're fine.
But yes, Turning Red. I guess a little bit about the film. For if you are living under a rock and you do not follow the Disney dictatorship.
Hmm. Yeah.
um
Monarchy.
yeah, growing up as a beast. 13-year-old May is experiencing the awkwardness of being a teenager with a twist. When she gets too excited, she transforms into a giant red panda. So that is the Letterboxd synopsis. I do think, of course, there is more to it. It is 100 minutes long and is directed by Domishi,
Yes.
who also was the director of Bao, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm. Yep. 2018 Oscar-winning film, short film. Wow. I love her. I love her. I'm obsessed with her. I think her Instagram is super cute. She just kind of like managed to make this film feel so universal in terms of the Asian American teenage girl experience. Like, it was so specific that in that specificity, she made a film that catered to probably everybody, which I still find incredible. And also, for the people that like hate on Bao, how dare you? It's fucking great.
Bao was so good, though.
It's so fucking good. Are you kidding? I had so many comments of like back in 2018 when we first watched it in theaters. It was like, what was it about? It's so weird. Like, why would she like eat her own son and all this bullshit? And I was like, do you not like creativity? Do you not like
Do you not
taste?
have an imagination? Do you
Oh
not
my
have a
god.
sense of discernment? Do you not have a sense of interpretation?
Like, what?
It's right there. It's right there.
It's
Of course,
right there.
I do see like it can be. I remember a lot of people being confused when they first watched it, but eventually they got it. Which a lot
Yeah.
of the themes transfer into Turning Red.
Incredibly well. Incredibly well. Cause like, okay, let's get into the nitty gritty, more specific stuff. I want to talk about the family first because first of all, I found out and I realized the other day while watching it that I am basically May's dad because those are my new glasses. And I just look like this man and I just kept staring at him and I was like, oh,
Speaking of the
I'm just a dad from
glasses,
the early 2000s. Like, that's just my
my
new persona.
my favorite part was when he was cooking and they did the anime thing where his glasses were fogged up and he
Oh
like
my
touched
god.
them and I
Oh
was
my
like, oh my
god.
god, they did the anime thing.
It was so good. It was so fucking good. He's just so nice and so kind and so like tender, which I know that it's like kind of like a stereotype of Asian men that they're like quote unquote weak or like like feminine. But he was just such a good dad. He was so caring and understanding and like was actually open to hearing May out and what she was going through and giving her some leeway in terms of like her life, what she wanted to do. So I personally love him. I wish we had had more time with him.
Yeah, he definitely needed to be a counterbalance for the mom.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I really liked his character and I just really enjoyed how they did use him because he could have been just a prop. He could have just been there.
Yeah.
But the moment where he's most needed, it counts. Like they
Yes.
made it count and
He
it
shows up.
was
He
yeah.
shows up every step of the way. And I think that just kind of like resonates so deeply with me because of how not important, but how like connected and how in tune he was with his family's needs, which I
Mhm.
found really, really beautiful and really like incredible. Also, the end credit scene is just the cutest
Yes.
thing ever. I love it. I love it so much.
I mean, that was my dad because I remember I'm exposing myself on the pod. I remember no, the so I used to be a believer and my dad was like he would get me like Justin Bieber shirts and stuff and he was that one and I was like you're that dad and I respect the heck out of that. So seeing that scene in the end I was like that's cute.
We were all believers. Don't worry about it. Don't worry.
Regrets.
No. Well, no. I was
Nah.
super into Big Time Rush.
Mm. See, that was the thing watching this film. I wasn't the boy band type, but I still related to that aspect of this film because of course I did
Yeah.
like Justin Bieber. So I just remember
Yeah.
like I was that I remember I told you, I texted you. I was like, I also made a
Yeah.
PowerPoint once. I had the brochures. I
Obsessed.
remember cuz he was gonna do a tour in Puerto Rico and I couldn't go. So for my birthday, all my friends like put their money together and they got me tickets to see him.
Shut up. That's
Yeah.
so cute. Oh
Yeah.
my
So watching
god.
this film definitely like they got a lot of aspects accurate because as much as we want to be like, no, I never had a boy band phase or whatever, we all have like
Liar.
it doesn't even have to be a male artist. We all had an artist that we
Yeah.
liked because I mean at that point we're just so confused. We just want something to hold on to, and for a lot of people it's movies. Other people it's like
Yeah.
boy bands or whatever. So I liked how they focused on that.
My ride or die is my mom. She took me to go watch Imagine Dragons in 2015,
Yes.
like a bad bitch. And we had so much fun. And then we went to a music festival in 2019, I think. And it was like a 3-day thing. She was such a trooper. She had way more fun than I did because she was the one that actually got drunk with strangers. And
Love
like
that.
I turned her into a 21 Pilots stan, the life
Yeah,
that we live.
no. My mom, I remember I was in 11th grade, I think, and Lady Gaga was coming to Puerto Rico. My mom and my friend's mom, they camped out, quote unquote, in line the entire morning to get us general admission tickets. So it was like a Halloween concert, and we ended up going. We got good tickets, and I was like front row, and I got to touch her hand, and it was all because my mom made that line.
Mommy coming in
See,
strong.
so
Dang.
that aspect of turning red, I love it. We love parents that support this, especially like the
Yes.
dad, because the mom had to get
Yes.
there a little bit, but of
Oh my
course it just
god.
goes with the dynamic in general. Because
Yeah.
I
Perfect
love
segue into
I love how yeah.
motherhood
I love
and
how they both had a solid journey. It wasn't just May.
yeah.
They were both well
Yeah.
developed.
Yeah. So the film focuses really heavily on that mother-daughter relationship. It's 3 generations of mother-daughters. The grandma
Yeah.
with May's mom and then May's mom with May. And you can see from like the different generations just how those relationships are different and how the relationships kind of like evolved and changed throughout time. I was particularly very, very, very intrigued by Grandma and May's mom because I could definitely feel that kind of being something that weighed heavily on my own experience and my own like, uh, you know, family. Um, so when that was explored in the film, I was just floored. I was dead. I'm gonna watch this with my grandma on Friday and just like force feed her therapy, because it's just so
Yeah.
cute and so like the thing that happens to lead them to where they are at this point in the film is just heartbreaking. And much like Encanto, it's something that stays with you subconsciously. And it forces you kind of into this corner of making choices that you think you're doing them out of like keeping your children safe, but it's rather more so keeping them sheltered from the world and keeping them sheltered from becoming the people that they're supposed to be. So, Sandra Oh, you killed it per
Oh,
usual. You were
absolutely.
fantastic. You made me cry. You made me feel things that I thought I was past. And then it was just kind of like, oh no, I'm still like trauma. I still have that trauma building up inside of me and just like
Yeah.
made it all come out. And I'm so annoyed now.
That entire sequence, which of course, minor spoiler, we'll be discussing like minor spoilers in this review, but that entire sequence where we see the mom go through different phases of her life, like when they're walking, if you know, you know, it's near the climax of the film. I think that's the one that stuck with me the most, and it's what made me like immediately be like, yeah, this is a solid film. I better be in the Oscars conversation next year because just with that one sequence alone, like leading up to it, it's silly, but it's a good kind of silly. It's still smart. It's still a smart film. It thrives off the chaos, but it has something to say. But that was the one moment where it got serious and they made it count. Again, it's all about making it count. And it's the one that stuck with me the most because I loved that choice where we saw that evolution of her just small, defenseless, and crying because she's being so hard on herself, and just seeing May leading her, I'm like, tears, goosebumps, chills.
Honest to fucking God, it's just so poetic and so like it just hit it right on the nose in terms of our like family's generational trauma and how we, the youngest generations, are put on this like spot where we're supposed to heal our entire family from something that happened so long ago. Right? Like we're the ones that are supposed to be the strongest and we're the ones that are supposed to be breaking those curses and those traumas and just kind of like,
but it's hard and it's heavy
dude,
when everything weighs on your shoulders. You're just a kid and you're expected to be like the salvation
exactly.
of a whole bunch of
Exactly.
people.
It's insane. It's insane and it's crazy and it hurts. It's painful, right? But it's painful in a way that's like, oh, you know, you're realizing now as an adult that that's what you were put through. And I hope that children watching this realize, sure, they can have a responsibility to their family, but it doesn't need to be all consuming and it doesn't need to be something that they're not comfortable doing. Slash, they can just say no and be mindful about, for example, your parents' desire to change or their complete lack of want.
Yeah, it reminds me of Real Women Have Curves.
Yeah.
With America Ferreira,
Yep.
and just that small aspect of when her mom basically expects her not to go to college because she's supposed to help the family and that is her purpose in life, but of course she wants to be educated. She's a good kid.
Yep.
She has
Yep.
grades. So with May, it's just, again, it's that the cultural backgrounds and those aspects that filter in through those family values, and just how
Yeah.
May was sacrificing basically her entire life just to fulfill what her mom wanted for her.
I liked to look at it as how May was sacrificing her happiness too.
Yeah.
Cause like she was happy, or she like at least she pretended to be happy.
She was
And I don't
content.
know. Yeah. Cause it in a way, like I feel the same way. Cause my mom is probably one of my best friends, and that just hit really close to home. Cause I've always viewed her as, you know, someone that sees me as kind of like an equal. And then there's times where I'm like reminded that that's just not the case all the time because I am her daughter and there's this like imbalance in power because
Yeah.
of that relationship. But at the same time, like not wanting to let your children be their own people and not forcing them, but expecting them to be something that they probably are not and don't want to be is very common in like our cultural backgrounds, both like as Latin people and as me as an Asian women. Like it's just very specific and rooted in like what is expected of us culturally.
And I also liked how they brought in the aunties and just how that
Oh my
all
god. Oh my god. They're all my favorite characters. I
they
love
showed up
them.
and I
They're
was like,
perfect.
yes.
I literally screamed. I screamed and I like rewind the whole clip and I like played it again because I was like, this is the best thing that's ever happened to me. Also, my God, the whole like body issues that I've had throughout the years just kind of like came crumbling down on me after that scene. I was like, oh my God. Oh my God, this is like too much. This is too close to home. But they're so
Yeah.
cool. They're so cool.
And just that whole sequence where she basically, all of them are okay with giving up the beast. Because again, it's that generational
Yes.
trauma we're talking about. But May chooses.
Baby, can we talk about mental health?
Yeah.
Can we do it? Can we just segue into it? Because I've been dying to talk about it. We both have anxiety, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool. I just need to preface that because, like you were saying, that
Mhm.
whole taming the beast thing to me just immediately translated into hiding your mental illness away from people out of
Yeah.
like fear that you're going to be judged by other people, or like your family's going to be judged by other people. Tell me a little bit about that for you. How did that resonate?
Yeah, I mean, not saying it to say it, because, you know, gotta preface that, like, actually diagnosed with anxiety. So I just remember that being a crumbling thing because I'd never heard of that. It was something weird. Nobody talked about it. This was around 2014. So I know that right now we all talk about mental health and everything about therapy. Like, it's more common now. But even back in 2014, it was still taboo. Nobody talked about it. So I remember at that point just being diagnosed and people being like, in my family, like, oh yeah, all of us have anxiety. Like, we're all like medically.
Like, you didn't think to
And I'm
tell
like,
me that,
yes, it's like we all talk about like getting passed down, like, for example, diabetes or cancer,
yeah,
but we don't
yeah,
talk about how mental health and mental illnesses can also affect the family tree.
exactly. Oh my God, exactly.
Hmm.
It's something that makes so much sense to me because there's this moment after May transformed for the first time where Ming, her mom, is kind of like apologizing for not telling her sooner because she thought she would have a little bit more time before like it happened, so that they could kind of like work through it together and hide it together, which just hurt me so badly because my mom, she's so good now, but back when I was in high school, I kept telling her I have these issues, I have these anxieties, and I don't know what to do with them. It's like ruining my entire life. Like, I'm genuinely freaking out every second of every day. And it wasn't until I had a mental breakdown in her car where she like looked me dead in the face and was like, "Oh, you know what? There is something wrong with you, probably, just by like the reaction that you're
Yeah.
having right now." I genuinely feel that another layer for this film is just how older generations treat mental illness and how
Hmm.
we are treating it now, with this kind of like openness to seeking help, seeking support,
Yeah.
going to therapy, talking to our friends about it, finding a support system that works for us, and actively talking about how we're feeling rather than like bottling things down to the point where we're erasing part of us and we're like ignoring part of us just because it's easy and just because it's like the thing that you're supposed to do
Yeah.
based on what your family's always done.
Yeah, because it's also about acknowledging the bad with the good, which is what we learned with Inside Out. The toxic positivity is harmful.
Yes.
So it was
Yes.
nice that she was able to have that support system, and that also it's okay not to feel guilty about having a support system outside of your family.
Yes.
I like that they
Yes.
touched on that because I have felt guilty, like May, in not admitting that I found comfort in people outside of my family. At least I remember one time when my aunt was trying to convince me to go to therapy for the first time, because at first I was like, therapy is scary. Nobody goes to therapy. Like, what? Why am I going to go to therapy? Only people with problems go to therapy. I don't have a problem.
Yeah, my
Because
problems are not big enough to like merit
yeah,
therapy and
even though
or
it's such the
medication.
opposite. Like, as Rita Moreno said, like, I remember because we were able to interview the director of Rita Moreno, the documentary, a while ago. One piece of advice Rita Moreno told them was go to therapy. That's the one thing she'll die on this hill for. And I'm like, yes,
If
Rita.
Rita Moreno tells you to go to therapy, you go to
You go to
fucking
therapy.
therapy.
So I remember when that happened, like they were trying to convince me to go to therapy. I forgot where I was going. I'm just like, go to therapy. But
Yeah, that's
basic,
it. We don't
yeah.
need to go anywhere. It's just
A lot of the time we don't think it's that important, but really sometimes we just need to talk to people that are outside of our bubble to help us see what's really going on, because oftentimes people that are too close to the situation will gaslight us, and sometimes we are our worst gaslighters. So it's always good to have an outside perspective, which is why therapy is so important.
holy fucking shit, preach. Like, I sometimes you just need someone, like a paid professional, to tell you how
Yeah.
wrong you are. Because then it's just kind of like a very nice cold splash of water to the face of like, oh shit, I'm the fucking drama. I'm the problem. It's not like the world has something against me. It's like I'm the one that's fucking everything up. So yeah, no, it's true. Literally. If you can afford to go to therapy, please go to therapy.
Yeah.
You'll be much better for it.
There's a reason why it exists, and it is literally like, I love where this conversation is going. This is a good Turning Red review. Thank you, Tamishi. But yes, go to therapy. I think that's the best takeaway from this film, because there is just so many layers that, of course, we'll get into, like the kooky parts soon. But it is important to value yourself as a person, as an individual, and not just what you can contribute to your family, which is also ties into Encanto. You are more than what you can give a community. You are more than what you can
Exactly.
offer. Like, the most important part is what you can offer yourself, and to take care of yourself and make sure that you are a functional person before trying to be functional for other people.
That is the sexiest thing you've ever said in your entire life. Oh my god. Oh my god. You can't. I'm so sorry.
We're going to church. Oh, my face is red.
I am
Emotions.
awkward right now. That made me very H-word. Oh my god. Fuck.
Can I talk about pads?
Before I... Oh my god, yes, let's talk about pads. Pads are better
Okay.
than tampons. Thank you very much. That's all I have to say.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. I hated being judged for not wanting to use tampons growing up, but
I
that is
still use pads.
I
Like,
use
what the
pads.
fuck?
I use, okay, we're getting into the nitty gritty. I am a full advocate for period panties. The Victoria's Secret ones are actually really good
Okay. Okay.
because, of course, sustainability, trying to be more eco-friendly because, of course, I think we are one of the biggest producers of plastic waste because of feminine hygiene products. And it fucking sucks that, sorry for swearing, it sucks that we
Wait,
don't
who
look...
the hell cares?
I don't know. It sucks that we, like, this is what bothers me the most. It sucks that we don't look into how we can better that for feminine hygiene projects. Like, right now, I've been using more cotton-based, like, pads and panty liners because we produce so much plastic with that, and nobody, like, looks into it because, like, talking about feminine hygiene products and, like, menstruation and everything that we need is not talked about because, of course, the patriarchy. And that's why I cried like a baby when I saw the pads
Yes.
in the film, because number one, in an
Yes.
animated film, number two, women
Amazing.
are always just looked at freaking sex objects to the point that anything medical that has to do with our sexuality and our reproductive system is just fully on ignored. So I was like, I saw that and I'm like, I feel like a person. I feel like an individual that is valued and is being portrayed as they should be, because menstruation is normal. Pads are fucking normal. And, like, she had that huge ass, like, basket, like this.
It was a tower.
It was a
tower, and
tower.
I was so obsessed. I was
And
obsessed.
she just started
Oh my
talking about,
God.
like, scented, unscented, winged, unwinged. And I'm like, yes, because we don't talk about this.
Ming is a fucking G. Like, she's just amazing. Fantastic. You know what my favorite thing is currently? My, like, wet wipes. And the brand that I use just came out with, I think, 100% biodegradable wet wipes. Isn't that the craziest
Yeah.
thing? I'm like, I'm so happy. This just made me so happy immediately,
Yeah.
instantly.
And it's so upsetting that we're just getting into this when the conversation
Yeah.
on sustainability and the climate crisis has been going on since I was in freaking, like,
Yes.
first grade. I am 25 right now. Why are we just doing this? Why are we just getting into this now? When it's this
so
easy.
stupid.
Like, it's easy to make biodegradable
Yes.
stuff. Especially, like, again, menstruation is normal. Why are we just doing this
Dude, it's
now?
like, it's fucked up because, like, women's issues are not seen as world issues.
And most of the, like, gynecology was funded by racist men, and that is why we have been so set back in feminine health. It just sucks. So I know that it, like, I felt like part of me was like, oh, this is so ridiculous. I'm crying because I'm seeing pads on a screen in an animated film. But also it's like, no, Josie, it's not ridiculous because we never see this. We're never humanized this way. We're always sexualized.
You know what? It is also gonna fucking help mothers and fathers and parents who are like, how do I talk to my kids about this when it happens to them? You know, how do I, like, it's so taboo here to the point where kids, like men in particular, like boys in school, make fun of women for just, like, having pads or having tampons.
Like,
and it's like, excuse?
I remember I was talking with my co-host Anna Sophia from Film Posers because she was also able to see the film. And I just remember telling her I started sobbing again because I just remember, like, when you're in, at least for me, like, I remember specifically it was 8th grade. And, like, at that time we were having, like, our sex ed classes and everything, and you were told to, like, hide your pad. Like, if you had to go to the bathroom, to, like, hide it, no one could see it, and the boys can't see it. What the heck, boys can't know that. And you were basically taught to treat that normal thing as if it was so taboo that you had to hide it, that you had to be ashamed of it, when you shouldn't. I remember I feeling so free at the fact that when I first started, like, I remember it was a Walgreens, and I was just carrying my pads, and I didn't hide it in a basket or anything. I just carried it in under my arm. I was like, that is like, I say it out loud, and I'm like, that is the simplest thing. Wow, you're carrying your pads. Woo. It felt so freeing because I was just walking around Walgreens grabbing chips and stuff, and it was like, yes, I'm on my period.
Who the fuck cares at this point? You know, like, it's just, we gotta normalize these things. We gotta allow girls to go through these things, even though it's just about making it normal. It's not so much about revolutionizing whatever the fuck. It's just about understanding that it is a normal occurrence. It happens every month, and it's fine.
Very insightful
Feminine
conversation. All of this
issues
because of
are world issues. God damn it.
Yes. I love how we got all of this from a girl that turns into a red panda.
Oh, there's so much more we haven't even touched on. I told you this the first time that I watched it. I was like, I can write. If I were in school again, or like at this moment, I would write my fucking like final paper dissertation on this. Like my PhD is just gonna be about this fucking film, and I can like actively do it. Like
I just remember feeling so seen in that moment when she starts drawing like a maniac under her bed. And I'm like, that was me writing fan fiction when I was 13.
yes, I was like, that was us writing. But like my favorite thing was like the mermen, like the mer people. That was just like, I don't know why it was such a very specific touch of like
Yeah.
girlhood. It was some kind of mythical creature. It's
Mm-hmm.
always been some kind of mythical creature. And I'm glad that like the merman trend is going strong. If you haven't watched it, it's very prevalent in like Centaur World, which is also it's a Netflix show for kids, but it's just like a Netflix show for me particularly. And like the over sexualization of like mermen is just so prevalent, and I'm like, this is perfect. This is hilarious. This is amazing.
I wrote a mermaid novel.
Hot. Sexy, amazing. We'll talk about that later. In like the not safe for work hour, we'll talk about it. Because I'm like, I need to know everything.
I have 70,000 words. It's a
Why
thing.
is this not published? Kindle
Because
Unlimited is a thing now.
I haven't finished. I need 30,000 more. I'm like, my goal is 100,000 words, but it's like set in like a fantasy form of Puerto Rico, and it's this girl that gets trapped in a book, and she has to save her sister. And they're like because these aren't your typical mermaids. They're murderous sirens, and they're all like badass warriors based on like African and Caribbean mythology. I'll send it to you.
I yes, please.
I'll send you the Pinterest. I
Yes.
have a playlist. I have everything.
Yes.
But it's a thing. We love mermaids.
Ooh, the mermaid thing is a thing. Yes. 1,000%. I'm really happy that we're being more open on Book Talk about being monster fuckers. And I'm so glad that we're like introducing kids
Shape of Water
really young.
won an Academy Award. We should not feel ashamed of our feelings.
If Guillermo del Toro can be thirsty on Maine and win an Academy Award for it, we can be thirsty
That's a
too.
t-shirt. That's a t-shirt.
We're gonna make merch. It's gonna be in cups and shirts.
Guillermo del Toro can be thirsty on Maine with monster fucking. We can do whatever we want. Ha!
Oh my god. No, honestly, like when that happened, I was like, yes, this man is representing all of us right now.
Guillermo
It's
del
a
Toro
little bit
gets
too
it.
like, yeah, he does. He totally fucking does. I'm still convinced. I'm gonna send you a bunch of like Tumblr posts of like funny Guillermo del Toro memes, just because they're just like monster fucker adjacent. It's just like the funniest thing ever. But yeah, going back to the kooky. First of all, the furries.
I am worried about that. I remember I finished the film and I was like, I'm just worried the furries are going to be thriving with this film.
The furries are going to be thriving, and you know what? I'm like not annoyed. I'm just kind of scared that if the not safe for work art gets, mainstream-ish and like kids are looking up the film, that's my only worry.
Yeah.
But like, go furries. Go fucking furries. She, like, May turns into a full-blown furry by the end, and I am behind her on that.
She just embraces it. I mean, all these kids just trying to get pictures with her.
I think that the kids are me. If you know me in real life, I'm very animated.
Yeah.
Like, I'm very
You're Abby. I kept seeing like I kept texting you so that people know. Like whenever Abby did anything, I was like, Aiko, that's you. Because sometimes she would make facial expressions that I was like, that's literally you when you were visiting me in New York. Especially when you were like, just screaming. Because Abby has this thing where she's like so tender, but she does it aggressively. And that's literally you. Because I know it reminds me.
That's my brand.
Yeah, because I have a friend that studied with me in undergrad that I remember. I'll never forget one time that she was explaining to me. Because she was the same way. She's like, because there's this thing in our brain that connects like cuteness with aggressiveness. So like sometimes that's why when you see a puppy, you're like, I want to squeeze it. That's why.
Yes.
Like there's a
Yes.
point in your brain when both your wires connect, and it's literally aggressiveness and the cuteness overload, and like you don't
Yeah.
know how to act. Like you act
Oh,
on
yeah.
your affection through aggressiveness.
Yes, I agree. 1,000%. That's literally how I feel about any fluffy animal. So if I were Abby, I would also be in that mindset of I always wanna have the panda. There was a scene in the bathroom where Abby's like so sad. She's like so fucking sad. Sorry for the spoilers. So fucking sad. And she was just looking at May with these like ooh eyes of like, I want it. And May was like, fine. And she like opens her arms and Abby runs up to her and grabs her in this like adorable embrace. And then May just like poofs into the red panda. And Abby's just like, yes, that's the stuff. I lost my shit. I lost my shit.
I loved
was
Abby.
like, that is literally me. We love her in this household. I cut my bangs. If you didn't know, I cut my bangs literally the day after I watched the film. Because I was like, you know what? I'm gonna just like allow myself to be chaos. I cut them myself. They look cute. And now I am gonna spend the rest of my life looking for every single piece for her costume. And I'm just gonna wear it every day.
Am I the only one that got kind of like queer vibes from Miriam and May?
No.
They kept playing it off as like, yeah.
Yes. Friendship my fucking ass. Are you kidding?
I was like, huh.
God, I loved it. I loved every second of it. They have this very tender relationship where it's like you can tell that Miriam is still figuring out her sexuality.
Yeah.
Which I really enjoy because I know that all of us started off as like boy crazy, and then that boy crazy translated into like, oh no, I'm more into like women. Also she just like dresses like a lesbian, even though like I'm very self-aware.
I thought she was,
and it's like it's
yeah,
very Canadian, like how she dresses is very
yeah.
Canadian. She looks like a friend of mine. I'm gonna send him this image and be like, this is you. This is who you are. You have
Honestly,
this exact
I
shirt.
think
You can't lie to me.
This film is set in Canada, so someone definitely spotted you
Yeah.
while you were living over there, and they were like, huh, let's make a Pixar character after this person.
Dude, I wish. I genuinely wish. Because I love it. I want Funko to make me a little pop because I just want her to.
Yes.
I want her.
If not, I'll just ask for someone to make you a custom one.
I would die. Thank you.
I'll find that. I'll find a way.
You'll find a way. Oh my God.
I will say the entire film, I was like, personality wise, I think I'm definitely like I was more drawn to May, but for some reason there were moments where I was like, am I Priya? Emotions than Priya, because Priya was a little bit, that's what drew me away towards May more, because I'm definitely more, like my favorite quote that I always play in my head is from Fleabag, where her father tells you like you feel too much and that's why all of this is so painful to you. That's me. So that's what drew me away from Priya, but there were moments where I was like,
baby Pisces
Priya.
rising. Priya's like a Cancer. Priya's like a very shut off Cancer, and I'm totally down for that. But yeah, no, I see you as May too. I think May just kind of like embodies all of us in some kind of way that I find really, really interesting.
Honestly, that's why I like her. She's so relatable in a way that I think that the crew of this film managed to create something so universal. Not in terms of like, let's try to make a character that's diverse, but that can still relate to a lot of people, so more people watch it. Because you know that sometimes people think that way when creating these films. But it's just a sense that she is firm in her culture and her background, but it gets to the point where we are able to identify easily with, if it's rain, I can't hear it.
That's because I'm muted.
Okay.
But it's just like, it's spring. And we have 2 seasons here, by the way. It's either blazing hot, which we had in the morning. It was like 32 degrees. And then fucking tropical rain, which is just all-consuming and all the fucking time.
It's 70 degrees here, so it's weird.
That's
it's
so
a weird
nice.
time. I know, but it's still a weird time. Because it's going to be 50 again soon, so I'm like, don't get my hopes up.
It's spring. Where the fuck is Persephone?
Persephone is
Persephone's
in Hades.
Maybe leave your man and come back up here.
But I liked how they were able to tap into so many anxieties and feelings that we have as a kid, that's what makes May so relatable. Because we are,
Oh
again,
yeah.
Encanto, we are always so focused on pleasing our family and being the best version of ourselves that we forget to be the best version that we deserve from ourselves.
Yeah. 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 Now as an adult, I'm more into this like making choices and doing things that would make me happy
Mm-hmm.
rather than like adjusting my demeanor and how I react to things just for the sake of my parents' appearance and like my family's appearance to other people, which has been fun. You know, I am a lot and I know that I'm a lot like May, but at the same time, like who gives a fuck? If I'm happy and I'm not infringing on anybody else's happiness, then why the
That's
fuck can't
my,
I just be
yeah.
like loud and fun and like
Yeah.
excited?
That's my motto. If what you're doing doesn't hurt anyone, especially yourself, go for it.
Fuck yeah.
As long as
Yeah.
you're not hurting anybody.
Okay, like segue into the music.
Oh my god.
Did you like it? Did you like the song?
I love them. They were stuck in my head, which I'm like, damn you, Phineas and Billy. But
Fucked
also
up.
the fact that Jordan Fisher was the voice for Robert.
Mon amour.
Mon amour.
Swear to God. It's so
He speaks
good.
French. Like we get
And
it.
those two are
He's
just, like,
hot.
over
He
there.
speaks French and reads poetry.
Sexy. Incredible. Amazing. I love that Ming kept calling them delinquents. And I was just like, wait, what for? They're like rich. They're like multi-millionaire. Wouldn't you want your daughter to end up with like a multi-millionaire?
And then at the end they signed the little picture.
Oh, yeah. That was adorable. I loved it. I loved it so much.
I love how the entire plot of this film is the fact that they want to go to concert. And I'm like, yes, that is the most accurate.
Yeah. Children are entrepreneurs.
Yeah, that's why I love how, ironically, this film is one of the most grounded, despite all this fantastical aspects.
Yeah.
It's so grounded in reality. Like, it's just kids making money to go to a concert and going to school and going to parties and just liking, like, crushing on a clerk at the Daisy Mart.
Yep. Poor kid.
That
He was
part-
just 17. He had no idea what the fuck was going on. Like, can you imagine if that happened to you? I'd be like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, I was embarrassed. I was like,
Yeah.
so fucking embarrassed for this poor man.
I understood why the Beast came out. I would have died.
My favorite bit was and I'm so sad they didn't take it anywhere further, but the beat where May is obsessed with like the emo kid. Like that to me was
Yes.
like I
was like, hey, it's Robert Pattinson as Bruce Wayne.
Literally same. I didn't even hesitate. I was like, that's the only thing that matters. And I get it. I understand it. I'm behind this choice. And then it just didn't go anywhere. I'm so sad.
Yeah, they were just showing how she's boy crazy now. That transition from ew, boys are gross to no, like that Finding Nemo audio. Like at first you were like, whoa, then you're like, whoa, then you're like, whoa. That's how it goes.
Yep. Literally, and it just like happened in 3 seconds. It was amazing. It was great.
Yeah.
Hormones are wild, y'all.
Oh yeah. To me, like ages 13 to 17 are like a complete blackout.
I choose not to remember those times. It would be bad for my mental health and my progress.
Because while you're going through it, you're like, this is completely normal. And then you look back and you're like, huh, they were right. We were crazy.
Literally. Like, was I just fucking insane? My God.
Nah.
But I love it, though.
Completely normal.
It's cute. It's cute as fuck. It's endearing.
Yeah.
Like, when people... I want the takeaway here to be to not shame and or make fun of people for having crushes. Don't shame your children for having crushes.
Don't
encourage
shame
them.
Yourself for having crushes.
Josie. Do you need me to say that to you again?
No.
In a more nurturing, condescending voice?
Don't expose me on Phone Babes.
Having crushes is normal.
Yes.
Having feelings, on the other hand, no, I'm kidding.
We don't like feelings. No, that would go against everything this film is trying to teach us. Feelings are okay. It's okay to feel feelings.
Feelings are great.
Watch Inside Out if you want some further studies or like. But
this is like the sequel to Inside Out. Like this is what they like
I
when
was
they
thinking the
right.
same thing because I remember that end credit scene where they were talking about
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah, where they press
puberty,
the puberty.
and it's
This
like,
is that.
in comes May.
Yep. Literally. Unofficial sequel to Inside Out.
Yeah.
You're very welcome.
And I remember, I know people have been saying that they don't like the animation style, but it's stylized for a reason.
Yeah. It's fucking great. It's got so much like anime inspiration in
Yeah.
it that I'm just like I'm
The cooking
excited.
sequence.
That was pornographic. Pornographic. I watched it too many times because I was just like, this is hot. This is sexy. Men cooking is sexy. Okay? It was beautiful. There was a Sailor Moon inspired transformation sequence, I think.
Yes.
Right? Ah, my heart. My beautiful
Mhm.
heart. I loved it. I think a lot of people are clowning on Twitter about how it's quote unquote, it's the call art style. It's so boring. And so, no, it's just like the studio style. Get over it. Like,
Mhm.
who cares? It looks great. It looks plump and it looks fluffy and it looks vibrant and alive. Like that's all that matters to me.
It goes perfectly with the story. Like as long as it goes
Yes.
hand in hand, and it elevates the story as much as the story elevates the animation to the levels it needs to get to. I thought it was okay.
I have no notes. It's great. Also, which I just was reminded by me thinking about how beautiful it looks. All the characters have varying body types. And
Absolutely.
like that just to me that's the pinnacle of like what animation should be, right? Like just representing everything from different backgrounds to different body types. That was great. That was amazing to look at. Pixar is known for their unrealistic body proportions. Cue picture of Mrs. Incredible.
This is incredible.
Elastigirl. Not all of us can have, a dump truck of an ass and like the slimmest waist possible.
Yeah.
So it was really refreshing to see these girls just have very different body types and not be defined by them.
Yeah. Especially Abby. She was so cute.
I'm literally that's my body type. I'm round and cute, okay? And I'm so tiny. Someone the other day was like, I always thought you were tall in like because we've never met in person. We've only like video chatted, and now you're telling me you're 5'2". I was like, yeah,
That happened to me
my
at
power.
the HCA Awards. I went to the Hollywood Critics Association Awards, and the first thing someone tells me is, "You're right. You are tiny."
What else? What else can we put in my dissertation?
I think we've covered all the very good bases.
Watch this film. Rent out a theater.
Yes. I think
Invite your friends.
that's a good way to conclude. It's definitely, I think we both support it.
Yes, if it's playing in your local theater, because it's not sadly for me, but I think in New York it is playing,
Yes.
right?
It is playing at the AMC 25 in New York. AMC Empire 25, which if I'm not mistaken, I think that's Times Square. If I'm not mistaken. But
Go
yes,
watch it. Go watch it in person. Give them
playing there.
money.
Yes.
Yeah. Support the animators. Like that. I don't give a fuck about supporting Disney. Support the animators that work their asses off on this film for like, I want to say 4 to 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
Right? They deserve their theatrical release. They keep doing Pixar dirty.
Even though it's clearly possible to do it. If the excuse was Omicron, I think they could have clearly been like, hello, Omicron isn't a threat anymore. Here you go. Get your
They
theater
had like
release.
a month and a half to rescind their initial statement. And they had Encanto playing whilst I think Delta was still pretty prevalent. So like, what the fuck? That's not an excuse. It's not a good excuse.
Yeah.
So yeah, go watch the film. Tell us your thoughts. Find Josie at every link that I'll provide below. And you can find us literally on probably every social media, at FilmBabes on Twitter and at FilmBabes with a 1 instead of an I on Instagram. My name is Aiko Hilkinger. I was joined by the lovely, incredible, amazing, fantastic, phenomenal, gorgeous, talented, brilliant, hilarious Josie Meléndez. And we hope that you had a great time listening. And we hope that you tune in next time. But until then, stay hydrated. And we love you so very much. Bye.